to go straight into lessons learned. What do you wish you had done before the layoff?
Okay, that's a very good question. And I think this is also going to be very informative, and it will be a sort of advice to people who, kind of have a job right now, and, some of the things that the lessons I've learned from these things that you could possibly do before layoff. One of the biggest advice I can give to anyone is to not rely on one job. I know that's crazy, but having one stream of income is like putting your life on the lifeline.
Hmm.
It's like putting all your hope on something,
In one
right? And
basket.
the moment that's been taken off, it feels like your entire life is taken
Depending
with it.
on it. Yeah.
So it's always good to think, even if you haven't figured something out yet, it's always good to have that mindset of, I can't rely on just one job. Even if it's something passive, something you do maybe just once in a week, twice a week that brings you money, something that's, can just give you like a passive stream of income. It's good to have,
Absolutely.
right? Even if it's a skill that you're going to learn that will give you that passive stream of income, it's always good to have, because when you face such disappointments, those are the things that you can fall back to. Those are the
Absolutely.
keep you going. A good example is something as basic as learning how to drive. If you don't know how to drive, you can switch to Uber. You can do food delivery. Something as simple as learning how to plait hair, cut hair. Like, these are side hustles. Things that you
Mhm.
can do, give you something on the side, as compared to not having any skill, not having any stream of income. It weighs you down more. You don't have any other ways of making money,
Yeah.
and that's sad, right? So
Mhm.
that's one of my, let me say, that's my biggest advice to anyone that has a job right now. I don't pray anything bad happens, but it's always good to have a backup plan.
Absolutely. 100%. No matter how nice, how awesome your work employers are, your work colleagues are, no matter how, I would say plan for a plan B, like Benro has said, plan for a second stream of income. It could be online, it could be social media, like we're doing, it could
Mhm.
be anything. But one thing that it taught me or it pushed me to do is to look into a big plan B that I had been putting off for the longest. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag right now,
Or
but
maybe not.
not now, but it pushed me to something very significant. And yeah, I'm glad somehow, in a way, I'm glad that that happened because if that did not happen, I wouldn't
Mhm.
take that step. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. I'll come again to announce about, the thing, the second step. But again, a plan B is always very important. Vero has
Yeah,
touched earlier on the need to have an emergency fund. If there's
important.
anything, even if it's a certain percentage or a low percentage of your income, please set it aside for an emergency fund. I had it previously the year before I lost my job. It's very, very necessary. When people say you should at least have 6 months of your income in emergency fund in case anything happens, it is very, very valid. That's
Important.
two. The third thing is save as much as you can, invest, get financial knowledge, and try to see
Mhm.
how you can invest in certain things. So, yes, emergency funds, plan B, solid plan B, and save and invest. All right.
Mhm.
Did it change how you see employers?
Okay, to be fair, this significantly affected me. It made me understand that, your job, your employer, I don't know, this is going live, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, so, but I'm gonna make it a bit mild, friendly, or let me say I'm gonna be more diplomatic about this.
Yes.
But you need to understand that you come first. Prioritize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Some people sometimes, they, because of the love they have for their jobs and their organization, sometimes they tend to do themselves like great disservice, like working overtime, not creating time for your own self to grow, not creating time for, personal development and growth, forgetting that if anything happens to the organization tomorrow, if they need to lay off, they would definitely not consider you. They would send you out of the door
Yeah.
the next minute.
Yeah.
So what you have is yourself, the skills that you're able to acquire, the growth that you've experienced in the course of doing the job is what you have left with you once you experience such things.
Yeah.
So one of the greatest lessons I learned is to develop myself. I'm
Yes.
doing it, whatever skill I'm learning, whatever thing I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah.
That's not to say I'm not aligned with my employers. That's not to say I'm not supporting their goals.
Yeah.
You have to be, the job you're doing is someone's dream. That's someone's vision,
Yes.
right? You have a personal vision. You need to have a personal dream.
Yes.
Be it the business,
Mm-hmm.
be it, modeling, that kind of thing. You need to understand that you shouldn't limit yourself to working for someone forever. You should have the
Absolutely.
growing out of it, even if it's small business, learn something from that business, develop yourself from there, and branch out into something else. Don't stay stuck with one employer forever. It's dangerous. I'm sorry to say this publicly, but staying 30, 40 years in a place that offers not so much of growth is not an advantage to you on the long run, because your counterpart who decides to move into other companies would get better opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
pay rise, higher chances of negotiation as compared to you staying back somewhere, forming loyalty to someone that can wake up one day and get you fired. Anything can
Yeah.
happen.
Yes.
So
And
loyalty to a lawyer should be done with some level of intelligence. That's the way I'm going to put it.
I love it. I love it. I think
And
you
that's not to be loyal. I'm just saying, consider yourself, put
on
yourself
put
first. As
yourself first. I absolutely agree with you. I think you said it well. Employers are not your friends, no matter how they smile or with you. They're not your friends. You're there to do a job. It's actually a transaction. You are being
yeah.
paid for the job that you're doing. So any additional thing you're doing it as a plus. So did it change the way I view employers? Yes, it did change because, like I said, my layoff came off as a surprise. My
Mhm.
as of 2 weeks before I lost my job, my boss was still sending me nice text messages, sending me hugs, reach out for friendship, reach out for professional support. So yes, did it change the way I see employers? Yes, it did change. Now, for me, it's like I would do my job, but I would also be very watchful. I would be
Mhm.
more observant, which is what is happening in my new place of work. Yes. And it also reminded me that yesterday's praises end yesterday.
Yes.
Today
Yeah.
is a new day. So even if your boss or my boss praises me yesterday, I will still do my work and hope that she praises me today. So it's
Yeah.
like living life on the edge, but
Mhm.
and that's why it's good to now, like you said, channel some of the energy that you put into the employers into your own self development or a plan B that could be a safety net for you if anything goes wrong. Again, life happens. It
You,
doesn't even necessarily have to do with your employers. It may be completely outside your control. It may be budget constraints. It may be maybe there was a fire that engulfed your building. It may be anything. Life happens. So
yeah.
do not completely put your eggs in one basket.
No, don't.
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
it's dangerous.
Toxic. Uh, it's detrimental on the long run, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you have to act that yourself, build some sort of safety net for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
consider the opportunity, like consider the things that you could possibly do outside that job. Because the
Yeah.
truth is, the organization has to choose between two people at your workplace, and they might decide to let you go,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how good you are to them, regardless of how helpful or resourceful you are to them. They can
Yeah.
always. So you need to understand that their loyalty may end at any point in time.
Yeah.
You have to choose yourself. You have to develop yourself to fit
Yeah.
into other.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um Again, remember it's a transaction, and every transaction has an end date.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you ever go back to that company if asked?
Oh my God, that's a very funny question. That's hilarious. But to be fair, no. I mean, um, like I say, like I do tell people, that was one of the biggest career mistakes I made, and I would say I've learned from it. I'm happy it happened at this phase of my life because it kind of exposed me to the things I needed to know. Sometimes you have to learn some experience. You have to learn about some things from personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? The amount of explanation people can give to you that would really prepare you for some things. You just have to experience them to understand how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say for me, I learned that from a personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen, that's why it's very important for you to read reviews, regardless of the offer, regardless of the prospects of whatever position you're getting into. You have to do your due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
do your own, understand the company you're moving into, understand their work culture, know the kind of people you're going to be working with, at least to a reasonable extent. You might not know so much, you might not get full information about it for a start, but do your own work.
Yeah.
Understand how it is. I mean, if it's your first job, I understand, but if you're moving from one job to a different job, it's very important for you not to leave a place of safety for a war zone. It's
Ah,
it's it's something you
deep,
need to actually
deep,
read about, look
deep.
into, especially as an immigrant. You have to work twice as hard
Yes.
as every other person for
Yes.
you to be considered credible for that job. Even when you're putting in all the efforts,
Yeah.
they really want to see you work twice as hard.
Yes.
So think about it. For me, I personally would not go back to that organization
Mm-hmm.
for certain reasons. I wouldn't love to share here. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it varies for different people. Some people might say, okay, yeah, they might consider going back. But for me, it wasn't really the kind of thing I expected. It was very disappointing to say the least.
Okay, good. For me, it's different in the sense that I worked for a franchise. So I'm
Mm.
working for a location of a bigger franchise. So would I go back to the bigger franchise? Yes. For a different location? Yes. But I would do more due diligence. But would I go back to this particular one location? Never. In fact, the location does not exist anymore. The business crumbled. I call it karma. You could call it anything, but yes, it crumbled. I call it karma because of the way that I'm not saying that she couldn't have laid me off. Layoffs are a part of life. It's in the way that she did the layoff. We've said it before that employers should reconsider the way that they actually lay off. So would I go back to the location that nope? If you give me $1 million, maybe no. But would I go back to the franchise? Yes,
Absolutely.
because of what the franchise represents. That's the reason I accepted the job in the first place. I loved the mission. I loved what they represented and still represent. All right. What is your biggest advice? We've said a lot of things as we were, going through the questions. We've given a lot of nice tips for people. But what would you say is your biggest piece of advice to someone who was just laid off?
Okay, so I would say the biggest, um, well, it's important for you to have a strategy after such a thing happens.
Would that be
A
the
lot of,
first one though? Because when it happens, remember we are dealing with a shock. So,
oh, okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Again, I understand you're going through shock. You're going to experience some level of shock, but at the same time, you can't allow the shock deprive you of the things that you're entitled to. Now, why I say that is because EHI is not something you have so much time to wait before you apply for it, right?
mhm,
Because wait longer,
you
you
might be
might lose
denied.
benefit those months that you didn't apply. While you're in pain, try to at least do something that
Mhm,
would keep you going, right?
mhm.
So that's yes advice again, because a lot of people lost such benefits because they struggled with the pain, the shock, and they lost some months of benefits that they were entitled to because they were still battling the mental stress.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so
So
strategic
yeah,
in that
consider,
regard.
I think while you're dealing with the pain, the stages of grief, at least as you are taking poison, be taking remedy on the side.
Yeah, so basically apply for EI as soon as you get
Then after
your last pay.
you can go back to bed and deal with your grief Then whenever you feel confident, you can come up again. Don't lose the benefit.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a
don't lose
lose-lose
your.
situation. You're struggling and you don't even have. You've lost some months of EI, entitlements. That's not the best.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, who are watching, EI is employment insurance. Canada gives employment
Mm.
insurance to people who, we've talked about it, people who lost their jobs based off how how long they had worked in the previous year before they were laid off.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to the final part of this
It's good that we made it this
session.
far. I'll be able to-
Yes, we made it this far. And the final
yeah.
part, some of you may have been wondering, have you gotten another job? How have you coped on the new job that you've gotten? Yeah, we're going to tackle those thoughts that you may be having. And again, if you have specific questions that we haven't touched, please feel free to put them in the comments. Feel free to ask questions regarding, like, any question that, especially if you are going through the same, any question that you would like to hear, either to make you feel better or to motivate you to do more, please feel free to leave comments. All right. Where are you now? Are you in a better place now?
Hmm. That's a very good question. You know, when people ask you, are you in a better place now? It's relative, right? So it depends on where you're coming from. So if you're asking me if I'm in a better place, I would say in respect to what?
Well, are you in a better place in respect to the time when you lost your job? That job loss phase. Are you in a better place now? Now, okay, let's break it down. Are you in a better place in regards to the job loss? Yes, because you have another job. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Are you in a better place mentally?
Hmm. Well, yes, I think I've dealt with that mental challenges that comes with job loss. Absolutely. But that's not to say you never know. I think we had some discussions about this in the past. There's always still some level of trauma, shock, um, you know, some sort of trauma that you wouldn't know that you're just still carrying,
Yeah.
until you come in contact with your triggers, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned that
You can
to you the
share it.
last.
I don't think you shared it in this discussion.
Yeah, so I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. I remember when I first started the job, and someone came to me to tell me my manager wanted to see me in the office. That kind of triggered my anxiety. I was scared. I thought I had lost my job. I started looking around. Let me pack on start packing my bags. That's some of the
Ah,
struggles that comes with losing your job, and you're trying to push back again. You start to overcompensate. That's another thing.
yeah.
You more than enough just because you know where you're coming from.
You don't want
You
to go
put in
back there.
energy into convincing your new employer, and it's not the best. It's not fair on anybody
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
give 2 hours, 3 hours extra just to convince them. Of
Mm-hmm.
which, if you were moving like from one job to the other, like on a normal, like in the normal routine, in the normal way,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't overcompensate because you
Yes.
have the mindset of, oh yeah, I'm doing my job, right?
Yeah.
You're just get move past that probationary phase, but you're not under pressure. So there's this level of pressure that comes when you just lost your job and you're getting a new job. You feel that pressure. You feel
Mm-hmm.
scared. You want to give more than enough. You're scared. You're
You
trauma
exert yourself.
and all of that. So yeah, it's absolutely spot on. Something I actually experienced firsthand, and I tell you, it wasn't the best feeling at the initial phase. But yeah, I'm glad to say I've moved past that. I mean, it's fair to say the worst is far behind me now.
Good. I love it. I love it. So would you say you're in a better place financially?
Oh my God, in this country, this mechanic economy, I don't think I'm in a better place yet.
And that's okay, right? That's okay.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm grateful to God. I'm not where I used to be, but I'm certainly still looking forward to better opportunities.
Okay.
Uh, it's not the worst compared to what I've seen in the past, but yeah, I'm currently doing well by God's
Mm-hmm.
grace. I'm still looking forward to better opportunities.
Great, great. For me, am I in a better place now? Mentally, I would share one story. There was a day that I was at work. I logged on and I couldn't log on. Something was wrong with my password. It happened that I needed to change my password. However, I had a mini panic attack. It's interesting because my layoff was in person, but this was
Yeah.
not in person. I was just trying to log on because I had had a colleague in the past who was trying to log on, and it happened to be his day. He couldn't log on, and then when he eventually logged on, he was laid off. So maybe
Wow.
maybe that played out in my mind. I don't know, but I had a mini panic attack, and then I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And it
Yeah.
still comes to mind when I'm trying to log in and I'm having difficulty logging on. That is
Yeah.
trauma. I know that I need to sit with it. I don't know what, maybe seek therapy. I know that I still need to seek therapy, but like we joked about, there's
Yeah. It's unpack, right?
so many things to
Yeah, and also
unpack.
I was going to talk about this briefly. Like, you said something about a colleague trying to log in, and he got laid off after that, and whatever happened. And that reminded me of a time at work when my colleague were describing how they would normally fire people from work,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and that kind of triggered my fear. They were having a random discussion about the people they've laid off in the past, and the way they
Mm-hmm.
normally go about the whole layoff process. It was triggering that memory of what happened to me in the past. And
Yes.
it's kind of sad that you're in that workspace where someone is talking about layoff.
Yes.
I mean, in an environment where you have experienced such a thing before. It was a trigger for me, but I couldn't tell them,
You couldn't,
guys,
yeah.
you're triggering me. Like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
setting me up on fire, right?
Oh my goodness,
But
this reminds me of a question where one of my colleagues was telling me about someone who was laid off in my
mhm,
position, how they laid off
yeah,
somebody in my position, and it
very,
triggered me.
very,
And there was something again that I said, and I want to say, "Oh, are you thinking?" And they just said, "Oh, are you thinking of being laid off?" I said, "No, no." I waved it aside, like, "No, no, nope, nope." But truly, I was thinking, like, okay,
yeah,
what should I do?
yeah,
What should I not do?
yeah,
Another thing is, I think that when you talk about overcompensating, I remember the third month of my in this new job. I called my boss and I said, "How am I doing?"
yeah.
I was like,
Well, that's an honest question, but
"Yeah,
sometimes it depends where it's coming from.
where it's coming from?" It wasn't coming from a place of I just really needed to know her thoughts about me because I don't want to be caught unawares again. I didn't want to be caught unawares again. And so I just needed to, and she was surprised. So I mean, this is how I started the conversation. I'm now 3 months here. What do you think? And then before I said, what do you think? I'm sure she was wondering what I was on about. Like 3 months. Okay. My probation was actually 6 months, not 3 months. This is the first time my probation is 6 months. So I'm sure she was wondering at 3 months, what is she asking me? But she was like, oh, you're fabulous. You are this, you are that. I'm like, chaka. You know, I wish I could tell her at the time. I wish I could tell her, put it in writing. But I'm sure if I did that, that would probably trigger
That's
something
weird.
very
Like,
weird.
what's
Like,
going on?
duh, you know? So these are the traumas that we're probably still going through, working through. Something that just came up when I talked about therapy. Please
Hmm,
seek therapy after a job
hmm,
loss. That's an advice that I did mention. Please seek therapy. I haven't, but I'm still going to because there's a lot. But please, if you have the opportunity, there are some free resources that you could, use at first before some jobs. I know my benefit has an amount for therapy, but I just want
yeah,
continuity. So please, if you can seek therapy, it helps heal for anything trauma. Please seek therapy.
it's important.
Um, what surprised you? Oh, I forgot to answer. Am I in a better place financially? No, I'm not. I racked up a lot of debts because, like I said, I quit my job the year before last year. So 2023, I was out of job. 2024, out of job. So it's like 2 years of accumulated debts. I'm not in a better place financially. I'm trying to pay up my debts. I also owe some personal people money. So financially, I will be honest, I'm not there yet. I'm hoping that
Well,
all things being equal, next year I'll be able to bounce back a bit. Hopefully, fingers crossed,
that's
everything
correct.
stays in the equilibrium state and I get back myself again.
I hope you get back soon. That's sad to know. But yeah, it's always one of those challenges that come with losing your income. It's never an easy. It's not. It's never a good experience. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Uh, comes with its own challenges too. So let's just pray that we never experience that again.
Again, thanks, Vero. Appreciate it. In fact, I'm going to say here, Vero was one of the people that helped me that I
So
called. Vero
you don't have to,
was one of the people that I called. Please, Vero, please, can you send me? I'll pay back in the, yeah. And I want to say this. I think
before
I
they will start
forgot.
to ask for
I want to say this again too. I did not touch anymore. We're talking about friends. I think that our layoff stories also made us closer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's
Yeah,
interesting to see. It's nice to see. Sometimes, sometimes you have to go through certain rough patches to
yeah,
to know your friends or to develop certain connections. So yes, well, it's not we didn't meet during the layoff. We had started talking more before the layoff.
yeah,
However, this layoff that we had to share, this similar story and
yeah.
trial that we had to share together brought us together. So yeah, hold on
Yeah,
to your friend.
it's good
When
to
I make money,
don't
Vero.
worry. Let me say make money first.
Well, exactly. God, please bless us now.
But yeah, I would love to say thank you also. I mean, it wasn't just about me. Also, you were also supportive because I remember it was a time where everyone needed support. Honestly, it's like two people in a pit trying to drag themselves out,
Yeah.
and it was tough. It was difficult. I remember I even got my job before yours,
Yes.
and it was it was sad that at some point when I needed to call, I always felt bad that okay, like she lost her job before me, and I got my
Oh,
job,
did
and how am I?
you?
It's part of the story I never told you, but it was kind of
Yeah.
sad back then, calling again when you finally got out of it and it felt like the other person was still in the pit. And I could
Mm,
only do as much as I could at that particular point in time. Also, I was going to say
yeah.
thank you. It was comforting to know that, you were also there, you were supportive with words, and we all went through. I'm glad we're in a better place now. At least, maybe not financially or maybe not there yet, but at least it's better than where we're coming from.
Oh, now you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah. No, don't cry. We can try later.
But yeah, that's sweet to know. Thanks, Vero. And again, thankful to God that we have gotten to this point where we can look back and share our stories. We can laugh about
Yeah,
it now.
absolutely.
So thankful to God, thankful for all our friends who supported us, thankful to you, and I'm hoping
Yeah,
that we would have better stories to tell in the sense that, well, in 2024 I lost my job, I picked it up, but here I am now in this good financial space where I can
yeah.
help people, where I can do more. So hopefully, fingers crossed,
Fingers crossed.
being
Yeah.
optimistic, we're gonna get there. All right. What surprised you about life after a layoff? Maybe not after a layoff, but like what surprised you, like after the layoff, but after you've gotten a job? Did anything
Hmm.
surprise you?
Well, to be fair, one thing I've learned, or one thing that came to me as a surprise is that, um, well, would I say that's a surprise? Life after layoff? Honestly, it's no longer a surprise to me. It used to be a surprise to me that, you could one day have a job and next day you don't have a job, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not something you can be prepared for. Like I said, in my current job, I've seen lots of people being laid off. I've seen how people have been laid off, and I'm like, oh my god, this reminds me of what I went through some time past. So, um, initially it was a surprise to me, but not anymore.
Not
But
anymore. And that's
again,
mm-hmm.
it's fair to still call it a surprise that the same person who manages you, who gives good review, can turn around tomorrow and say, "Hey, Mr. Man, it's a goodbye." It's like
Yeah,
relationships, right?
yeah,
When you're being served hot breakfast,
exactly.
the same person who tells you "I love you"
I
can wake
love you.
up
Can
tomorrow
wake
and say
up
you're the worst thing
exact
that ever happened to
to
me.
me.
So it's
Exactly.
it's the same with your job. It came to
Exactly.
me as a surprise, but not anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think I have any surprises. Of course, surprises with how certain people reacted, certain people treated me. Yeah, those surprised me. But again, when you've gone through such trauma, when you've gone through such terrible time, it kind of gives you some sort of resilience, not resilience, some sort of wall that you build, like anything can happen. And it's kind
Yeah,
of good. It's kind of good. It may be bad if you are not if you don't balance it, but
absolutely.
it's good to have at the back of your mind that anything could happen, and maybe it will
Yeah,
help you plan better. So yes,
yeah,
um, did you push did it push you into a new career path? I think we've talked about that. Um,
yeah. I mean, to be fair, it didn't push me out of my current field, but I mean, I'm currently still in the same field, but it was something I actually thought was gonna happen because
mhm,
I was close to leaving my current field,
good.
which, or who knows, maybe after some time I might end up still leaving.
Mhm,
Uh, but yeah, it was close to doing that. But again, some people find this interesting to do. I mean, my friend who I mentioned
mhm,
initially took it as an opportunity to launch himself into a new career path entirely, which was really good for him. He got a pay rise, even much more than he was earning before. He
mhm,
was able to like start a new life from there. While
mhm,
some people might just remain on the same, on the same path. But
mhm.
again, whether on the same path or a different path, there's always a lesson to learn from this.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. To me,
Mm,
no, I'm still in the field. However, I'm doing, like I said before, I'm doing something that is completely different from what my career field is in, and I'm hoping that brings some good success along the way. So yes, if it means that you need to look into a new career path to bring the money to get the box, by all means, please invest in yourself. Self development doesn't is not limited to any career field.
absolutely.
If you find that you're going to be making more money somewhere else, please develop yourself to be able to make that money. Final question. Final
Mm.
question. If you could go back, would you change anything?
Okay, so if I could go back, would I change anything? I need to understand that question correctly. Anything in what sense?
If you could go back, would you change absolutely anything? Would you change the situation surrounding your getting the job? Would
Mm,
you change what you did on the job?
mm,
Would it change how you reacted on the job? Would you
mm,
change what you did after you were laid off? Would you change
mm.
anything, different aspects of your
Okay, yeah.
job loss?
So I'm gonna answer that question in three different ways.
Go for it.
I think this is gonna be really helpful to other people. So would I change anything? I would start from where I was working before I got into the before I got the job where I got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna talk about after the new job I got. So what would I have changed, when I was applying for the job, when I was on the job that got me laid off, and the one I had before I got laid off. So three different responses, three different insights to
Approach.
share,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'll start from the actual job that got me laid off. I would say if I was to change anything, it would be maybe trying to, trying to leave that room for me to go back, in the sense that I could possibly tell my employer, my old employer, that, okay, I'm taking a new job. I mean, please, let's keep the connection going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go through 3 months of probationary, um, observation, right? So
Mm-hmm.
anything could happen. I'm not saying you should keep your job on hold, but if it happens that after 3 months I'm
Mm-hmm.
not able to
Would
make
you
it through,
take me back?
back, questions like that,
Mm.
letting them understand that you're only doing this not because you do not like your current job, but because you need to take some steps further.
Advancement.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing.
That's very
Secondly,
important.
I would talk about the current job. Well, on the current job, I would say I would be more diplomatic. That was one of the things I think I did wrongly. Let me be honest with myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being a more advanced role for me that I had never handled before,
Mm-hmm.
it came to me as a learning experience. I was
Mm-hmm.
learning to be in that position where I had people directly reporting to me as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it wasn't just about accepting the job, accepting career advancement for me. It was more of also learning through the advancement. So if
Mm-hmm.
there's anything I would say I would do differently, it would be to be more diplomatic about handling issues. When you're in a new organization, you need to understand the terrain of where you are. You need to understand how things work. Don't come with the whole idea of where you're coming from. It might not work that way. There's a
Absolutely.
lot of politics. Politics is different in different organizations. Some organization it's toxic, extremely toxic. You have to understand how it works there before you
Mm-hmm.
start to play. While in some organization you don't even have to do so much. It's pretty much simple, right? So that's one thing I've learned,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'd do differently if I had the chance to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Say on future term or in a current perspective of what I'm currently faced with, I would say, um, well, what would I do differently? I would still say maybe, or what do I think I should do differently right now? I would say maybe to try and do a bit more of maybe more research as well, right? Because it's somewhat related to research too, right? You need to understand how things work here too, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the new organization. For every organization you're going to, you need to do some research. I keep emphasizing this. A lot of people might not understand it because for every new organization that you're joining, the work culture is different.
Mm-hmm.
The um the mission is
The
different.
dynamics are different.
Like the dynamics, everything about them is different,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need to do some research. I would do some research. I'm still doing my research, but I feel like if I had done more research about my current organization, there are certain things I'm realizing now
Yes.
that I would have realized before joining. Not in a bad way, but maybe I would have leveraged better opportunities. I would have gotten more opportunity in terms of pay, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
maybe the position I would have applied to, so many things that I could have done differently if I got the chance. If I had this information, I would have done differently. So,
Different.
yeah, so that's it. Let me just leave it that way.
I love it. I love it. I love how you touched on the three parts. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for doing
Yeah,
that. For me, the very first thing I would say that I wished I did differently was to be more discerning. Before I
yeah,
got the job that I was laid off from, there are certain things that my boss to be had said that I did not really pay attention to because I was just so excited by the things that she had painted, the
mm,
the perks, so it was more like she sugar coated what she was handing to me, and oh, I
mm.
was gonna get a company car. I was gonna, so
Good to be true.
you know, too good to be true. So I
mm,
should have been more discerning. There's certain
mm,
things that she said about, someone not accepting the job or someone accepting the job and
mm, mm.
not resuming
Not
those
following up with the job,
things.
not going to the job.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
things. If I had paid more attention, maybe I would have
yeah,
avoided it.
yeah.
But again, no regrets because I have
Mm,
now learned and I have now, been more and I'm now more discerning, and it has
mm,
pushed me to do things that I would
mm.
not do or things I did not
Yeah,
think I needed to do.
yeah,
The second thing that I wish I would change was, again, this thing that I'm doing, I'm going into, I could have done it many years ago. But I was like,
yeah,
it's my passion. It's my passion. I just want to help people. But you can make money out of
mm,
your passion. So
yeah,
for those of you who are watching, if there's a passion that you're just I'm passionate about, it's okay to also make money. You can still fulfill purpose and make money from fulfilling purpose. You just need to balance
yeah.
the dynamic in
The
the sense,
motive, the
the
motive has to be
motive.
questioned. Yeah.
Yes, the motive. Like, are you still fulfilling purpose? Are you still
Mm,
impacting people? Are you still
yeah.
helping people? Good. Are you making money? Good. So it's okay.
Good.
And so that's what
Yeah.
I was still struggling with over the years. I wish I had taken the step to make money out of my passion. This is many years
Yeah.
ago because I wouldn't have been in the precarious situation as I was last time.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I would change that. The other thing is, to your point of being diplomatic, more diplomatic. I will
Yeah.
change that
Absolutely.
too. I think
Mm,
as immigrants in a new country, we need to learn continuously. It's an ongoing learning curve where we continue
mm-hmm.
to,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to get there all of a
Mhm.
sudden. But yeah,
Mhm.
that diplomacy, because coming from where we are, your no is your no. Like once your
Yeah.
boss,
Yeah.
if your boss doesn't like you, you would see it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would know. So you don't need to be be
Yeah.
trying to fake something. No, you
Absolutely.
can
Absolutely.
tell
I
that
was
you're.
gonna say this. I was gonna say this. Sorry to interject you,
Mhm.
but I was gonna say this. I just need to say this before I forget it.
Yeah.
My geography failed me in that job. In geography we say the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. It was the opposite, the direct opposite of what geography taught me, that the higher you go, the hotter it becomes.
Yes.
I took a position that took me higher, but I was hoping that okay, maybe it was gonna be easier, but on the
Mm.
contrary, or on the flip side, it was hotter. So
Yes.
that was why I said my geography failed me, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's
On
a
the
good
contrary to saying
analysis.
the higher you go, the
The
cooler it
color.
becomes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the higher you go, the
The
hotter
hotter,
it
and
becomes.
still stands. That still stands because I am in
Yeah,
a higher role too. I'm in a managerial
yeah,
role. It's still hot. It is still
yeah,
hot. I'm still constantly trying to juggle things, trying to say, oh, is my decision right? Is my decision all right? Your decision, is your decision pleasing your team members? Is your decision pleasing the higher ups? You continuously balance it, especially if you are in a managerial position or a higher level role in Canada. Also,
yeah,
depends on how we were socialized. Like I said, back in Nigeria, we're socialized in a way that your boss isn't happy with you. You would know. You
yeah.
don't need to be checking, poking holes to see if she's actually okay or if he is actually okay. You will know. But we're
Mhm.
here in a culture that you don't know outrightly if someone is
Yeah,
unhappy with you
it's
or someone is, not so. So that way you continuously have to ask the question, how
yeah,
am I doing?
and it's systemic, right? It's systemic. It's
Yes.
it's a form of aggression,
Yeah.
and you know, getting feedbacks. In fact, let me touch on that a little bit. When I was interviewing for my current job, my
Mm-hmm.
manager asked me something. Said so. She was like, "What would I have wished my last manager did that she didn't do, or he or she didn't do?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I was like, "Well." Or what was my expectation from her? I think that was the way she worded it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So I'm like, well, I understand that on this job I might not be the perfect person. I mean, some days I might come off very strong, some days I
Mm-hmm.
might default to certain things. But I would appreciate if you could tell me the areas I'm not doing well. If at
Mm-hmm.
any point in time I'm going off tangents or I'm not doing what I'm
Ah,
supposed to do,
as you're
please
saying
get
this
me on
thing now, I
course.
need to tell my boss this thing that you're saying.
Please get me on course,
Yes.
right? Don't assume that I know what I'm doing. Some
Mm-hmm.
days I might not know. I
Mm-hmm.
might innocently do stupid things. Sorry to use the word stupid.
Yeah.
So get me on track. That's one of the jobs you have as a manager. You need
Mm-hmm.
to managing people. You're not just managing the job. You're managing people to do the job, to deliver
Absolutely.
the job effectively. So while you're managing them, you also need to give feedbacks. Don't keep your
Mm-hmm.
feedback. I understand the system is built to show passive aggression.
Yeah.
The system is built to say the opposite of what they mean. They can
Mm-hmm.
smile at you and still
I
stab
see.
you in the back.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to be confrontational, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to come to me directly and tell me,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Man, you're not doing something right. You need to get on this. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the ways I can pick myself up. If
Mm-hmm.
you leave me to it, I'll continue on the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're going in the opposite direction, you're increasing your speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's it. That's what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
resentment, once your manager builds resentment against
I'm
you,
going to touch on
in no
that.
time, in no time you're out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was going to touch
these
on
are some
that.
of the things that happen.
Yeah. Ask for feedback. I'm gonna, as you just said it now. I've made it. I've made a mental note to ask my boss, or don't ask her. Remind her that please, I would appreciate
Always
it.
give feedback. Yeah.
Yes, even if it's not so friendly, please, I would appreciate it if you let me know how I'm doing, what I'm doing right. This is a new organization that I'm, trying to learn. Please, always give me feedback
Position yourself as someone who is willing to
to
get feedback.
receive feedback. Yes,
That was one
yes.
of the things I said in the course of I think one of those things that stood out for my manager, I could see from her face that she felt like she could work with me based
Mm-hmm,
on that,
mm-hmm.
because I presented myself as someone who could
Who
who
was
should
open
work,
to
should manage,
criticism,
right? I didn't
constructive.
come up. as someone who knew it all. I came up as someone who is competent but yet open to feedback,
Yeah.
right? So if you don't make yourself workable, if you don't
Yeah.
present yourself as someone who's malleable,
Mm-hmm.
right, they might see you as strong.
Yes.
Because every manager wants someone they can work with. They want
Yes.
someone that they can correct, right? Like being able to take correction is part of what it takes to be successful in your job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So make them understand that you understand the importance of being able to receive correction. So if there's
Mm-hmm.
any point in time that you need to be corrected or you need to be reprimanded,
Mm-hmm.
please do not hesitate to do that and
Mm-hmm.
help me understand how to do the right thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Ah,
Emphasize
I'm
on
going
it.
to
It's important for
on
your growth.
Monday. I'm going to send my boss a Teams message to say this thing that you just said. But also
Yeah,
I want to touch on the fact that once you know that the relationship with you and your boss is not, it can be mended. It is the time to start looking for another job.
yeah,
Once you realize that once, twice, thrice, your boss has shown or expressed displeasure and she's not giving room or he's not giving room for improvement, start looking out. That would
yeah.
be,
It's important.
yeah,
Don't,
that would be
don't wait till you're stopped.
do not wait till you, yes, do not wait. If you're
Yeah,
asking for feedback, you're asking and you're already noticing that, nope, it's not
mhm,
helping, please
yeah.
take the steps to start applying. On this
Yeah,
note,
and
okay,
one more thing before, because yeah, you asked me to remind you of the question you wanted to ask. I was going to talk about, but just before then, I was going to say this for the benefit of the listener. While you're on your job, it might be something you're doing already, it might be something you never thought about. It's always good to communicate as clearly as possible. Now, for example, if your manager is asking you, I asked you to do this, don't wait till you're done with the job before communicating the phase you have on the job,
yeah,
right? Even if it's as little as telling her that, oh, I started the job, I'm currently on this, I'm hoping to finish at this time. Please, just for you to know, just for your information, whatever,
yeah.
whichever way you wish to word it, just keep them updated, right? And
Uh-huh.
if you need extension by chance, you can go back and say, okay, I've gone this far,
Uh-huh.
this is what I've done, but I think I would need 1 or 2 day extension to this. That keeps them, that shows accountability. It
Yeah,
shows you're
that
doing
you're
the job,
working. Yes.
even though you
Okay.
need more time. Right? You might not even be doing anything, but if you need more time, it makes them assured that you're doing the
You're
job. Don't
working on it.
don't
Yes.
keep quiet, assuming
Yes.
that okay, they
Yes.
should know I'm doing the job. I know
Yes.
it's not our thing in Nigeria to always give feedback,
Updates. Oh
but
yeah. No, please.
we need to always do that.
Oh, that one. I think I'm good with that. I respond. Please also do your job well.
Do your job well. Yeah, it's important.
Be responsive. Timelines. Try to meet it. If you cannot meet them, cannot meet deadlines. Let your boss know. If you need resources to support you,
Hmm.
let your boss know.
Hmm.
If you need human resource support, let them know. Ask. It's better for you to ask and be denied than not ask and be suffering. So your job is supposed to, your boss, one of the duties of your boss is to provide the resources and training that you need to do your job well. So ask for
Hmm.
it. Don't be proactive enough to
Yeah,
ask for the help that you need to do your job. Yeah.
yeah.
So the question I wanted to ask you, or I said I was going to ask, was just to talk about how we became close, and talked about
Oh yeah, we
actually.
spoke about that
Yeah, yeah,
already.
that's
Okay,
what I was
yeah.
saying, but I remembered it. Yes, yes.
All right, that's okay. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Yes, yes. On this note, we're going to end here. Like I said,
Okay.
if you'd like us to talk more about a particular section of this whole discussion, please feel free to add comments. If we left
Mhm.
anything out, this has been different like parts, and we talked
Yeah,
extensively on these different parts. So if we left
yeah,
anything out, feel free to put it in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your comments, your questions, your concerns. If you're currently going through it, and I know you might be shy, but please feel free to leave. If you cannot leave a comment, come to my DM. My DM is open, right? Feel free to send a DM, and I will be more than willing to speak to you. I've had to speak to a lot of people who have gone through a layoff in the past few months. So please feel free. If you have any questions, please leave. Please like, please share with family and friends who are going through a layoff or who just need to learn about what to do in the current job market. So thank you guys. And yeah, Miro, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's been long
it's my
coming.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. And let me just put out my final word, and this would be a word of encouragement and advice. It's interesting how we're able to talk about this now without feeling emotional. I mean, not that we weren't emotional, like we're not emotional, but I mean, it's coming with a more acceptable emotion as compared to when it first happened. I
Yeah.
remember those days when we get on the call and we're just encouraging each other, telling each other, God no go shame us, God no go shame us,
Yeah.
that kind of vibe. But yeah, it's interesting to know that we were able to go and God transformed. I mean, in everything, I still have to give it back to God, right?
Yeah.
So God transformed what seemed like a lemon into a lemonade. So it wasn't just about us; it's about God Himself changing the story. It's
Yeah.
so it's so amazing to know that we've come this far. And I also want to encourage anyone going through this: don't give up. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You might be wondering why is the light at the end of the tunnel? Don't worry, you go soon reach the end of the
You
tunnel.
go so ready, and if we could
But
do
yeah,
it,
that's
you can. If we could bounce back, like we said, we were on the ground. If we could bounce back, if we can be here and laugh and smile about it, you will. You will get there. And so do not give up. Now, who give up, lose.
now for couple. Now for
So please hold on tightly, hold on to your friends that matter, hold on to your family members that matter, and you will shine again. All right. Thank you, Guero.
bye.